This episode is presented by Lost Bell Wines. Rebranding from one of the oldest wineries in Nova Scotia, Lost Bell is bringing a new twist to classic wines.
The Lost Bell Rosé is sure to be your new go-to refresher with a gorgeous pink color and deliciously simple taste and finish. If rosé isn't your thing, their Saval or Baco Noir will be sure to thrill your taste buds.
All of their wines are handcrafted in Falmouth, Nova Scotia by their wonderful winemaker, Tony. Kick back and sip the flavors of the valley with Lost Bell Wines by Saint Fimi.
Welcome to the morning meeting with Sarah and Jess,
where the tea is hot, the wine is chilled, and no topic is off limits. Pull up a chair and join us. There is room for all of you here.
We won't limit seating, we'll just build a bigger table. Let's begin today's meeting. Hi everyone, welcome back to the morning meeting. We are so glad you could join us for another conversation around the table. We have such a funny chat in store for you with our next guest in today's episode, so let's get into it. Joining us around the morning meeting table today is Erin Romaine, aka the Homebody Hustler. Erin is a stay-at-home blogger who loves her kids, making people laugh, and bedtime. A native of Antigonish, Nova Scotia, Erin grew up all over North America: Winnipeg, Manitoba, Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Illinois, Scottsdale, Arizona, and Shawnee, Kansas. After high school, Erin went back to her hometown and attended St. Francis Xavier University, where she received her bachelor's in business administration. From there, she did a complete 180 and headed off to sunny Los Angeles to attend makeup school. Once that achievement was unlocked, she headed to Toronto, Ontario, where she worked freelance makeup as well as working as the manager of Benefit Cosmetics for a number of years. It was in Toronto where Erin met Corey. They fell in love and headed to Ottawa, Ontario, where they got married and had two amazing daughters. After 5 years, they moved again back home to Nova Scotia, where they are currently living in their dream house on a lake forever. Erin is a stay-at-home blogger who blogs about motherhood and life. She has two wild and crazy daughters. She doesn't get out much, not that she minds, and she is your typical homebody, but also not typical because she does love social interaction, but only online. Don't come over to her house or anything. Without further ado, let's welcome Erin to the morning meeting table.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Erin. Welcome to the morning meeting.
Oh, thank you. So happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Erin Romaine. We just confirmed the last name. As Jessica said, it's Romaine like the lettuce, what did you say, Jess?
Ramen like the noodle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm a lettuce gal, not a noodle gal.
That's right. We'll never forget that now. Erin, we're so glad to have you around the table. You've been making us laugh for so long. Jessica has been laughing at you, with you for quite some time now. And she has directed me to your Homebody Hustler page. And I have literally been like crying and scream laughing and just feel like you're our new best friend. Literally, peeing my pants, all of the above. Just at you, like, nothing specific, just the way you deliver a message, your realness, like all about you. You're just funny.
It's so refreshing.
Thank you.
It is very refreshing. So why don't we start off? Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name is Erin. I am a Leo. I'm a stay-at-home mom of two daughters, and I am an Instagrammer, I guess you would say. I don't know. I like to go on Instagram and show my daily life and all the ups and downs and try and make people laugh.
And you succeed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. How old are your girls, Erin?
Oh, they are 6.5 and 5.
Wow.
Yeah, they're 18 months apart. So.
Oh, wow.
That was
something.
Yeah, that was a thing. But here you are to live to tell the tale. So
yes. Oh, totally. It was a great decision, but yeah, those are tricky times.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about your blog.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I just recently started to do that again. Like I started my blog, Homebody Hustler, a few years ago. And it was like back, I don't know, kind of when like Instagram, like being an influencer was like a big, huge thing.
Right.
And it was kind of like, I was kind of growing like a little bit of a following and people kind of were liking what I was doing. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll do a blog and like maybe I could be an influencer. Cause I honestly don't really know what I am on the internet. I just know that like I am me. Like I don't really know what to call myself because I don't really think I'm an influencer. But anyway, I thought, okay, well, maybe I can give this a shot. And so I started to do the blog in that way, like kind of like how everybody did their blogs. Like, I'm going to show you tips and like, I'm going to show you makeup. And it really didn't feel authentic. It just really wasn't working. And I don't know. I feel like people probably could see through that. And I just was like, I had to think too much about it and it just didn't feel good. So I kind of stopped doing that for a while and just kept up with like just what I do daily on the Instagram. And then I don't know, it was last month or something like that. I just got pulled to do it again, but to do it in a more authentic way and to do it more of like telling stories of like maybe stories, like funny stories from my past or telling, I don't know, not so much wisdom, but like, stuff that I've like observed or like just my thoughts basically. And
experiences you've had. And
yeah. And I feel like that's what, and then it started to resonate more with people. Cause I don't know about you, but I feel like for me, like whenever I'm on the internet, I'm like, why are we always shopping? Like, why am I on the internet? Like why, even if I'm on someone's blog, like I'm like looking at a product or looking at like, here is this outfits. And I'm like, I don't know if people want that anymore. Like, I'm like, I kind of miss the old school internet where it's like Tumblr or like you read people's thoughts or read people's stories. So I feel like maybe it's coming around again that people are more open to that. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I started to do with my blog again. And it seems to people like to read what I'm writing. So I'm going to stick with that, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was your blog, Honey, I Shrunk Our Savings, that really resonated with me. And I'm sure a million other people that I was like, hi, Erin, me again. Please come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know about money.
Yes. We actually left off one of our recent episodes talking about that, Jess. And we even said like one of our next episodes have to be about money because like our minds work in words and not numbers. And like it's something that it impacts us all and like finances and household finances and all of it. It's just so much, but it's something that we don't really talk about all that often because it's like, we don't know where we're at and we don't talk about money. It's one of the things you don't really talk about, you know?
Don't.
And when Jess shared this, it was, I think that was like in the same week, Jess, right? Like this blog post was posted. We were like, ding, ding, ding. Like, here it is. This is what we need to talk about.
It's so funny. I don't know if it's just like with what's going on with like current events or whatever, but everybody is like thinking about money, thinking about budgets, thinking like just money mindset. So it's like, it just feels like that's just a thing that's going on right now. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think it was my husband, Corey, that's just finally like, yo, we need to get on a budget. Like because we moved to Nova Scotia from Ontario 4 years ago. We built a house and like, it just feels like it was just like money out, money out, money out, money out. And it's like pandemic. And then like, it just feels like, you're getting stuff for the new house. You're doing this, you're doing that. And it's just been like nonstop spending. And then finally you're just like, he's like, oh yeah, we have to retire.
Right.
Because he's self-employed. He's a mortgage broker. So he's like, I don't have like a pension. Like I am my pension. And he's like, we're not like, we need to get it together. Like, otherwise. And I'm like, oh yeah, oops. I think that's on me. I think I'm the spender of the group here.
But also easier said than done.
Oh my God.
Right?
Absolutely. Because like, money is just, it's so tied to everything and it's so emotional and it's so tied to like how you were brought up around money, like what your family thought about money. It's like, it's so like deep rooted inside of you that it's just like, it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to stop spending money. It's like, no, like, why do you spend money? And like, what do you spend money on? And like, when do you spend money? And like all these sorts of things.
Oh,
and
there's so much to it.
Oh my God. And like in my blog, like when I was actually like doing the work about like, okay, what is my deal? Because like I spend, but it's not like I spend like I'm like, I am so happy spending all this money. Like I spend like I'm like, oh yeah. And like I like, oh yeah, panic. And then you feel like guilty. And then you feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And like just shame and all this stuff. But I realized that it was like I think money is bad. Like I think having a lot of money will lead to like no good. And like I like subconsciously just try and get rid of it. Whenever I have money, I'm like, how can we spend this? Because I'm not saving it. Because if I have a lot of money, people will think that I'm like a rich snob, and they'll just be like, must be nice having all that money.
Yeah. What a self-revelation to come to, like that awareness to go to. And I was reading, I was reading your, after I read Honey, I Shrunk Our Savings, I read Get In Loser, We're Healing Our Relationship with Money, which like, come on, just the title alone. And you talk about the relationship with money, and I instantly texted Jess like, holy shit, I am resonating with all of this. Like, you're right. It is the relationship. Like we have all seen what money has done to people in various ways and various relationships, you know, along the way. And you can start to like internalize some of that. And then you're uncomfortable with it for so many different reasons, right? Like the one you just said. And I read that you're doing, or you did, the Artist's Way with Erin.
You too, girl.
Well, but talk about spending money on things.
I know.
A therapist recommended this to me like 5 years ago. And I'll show you how far I got in the book. You might not be able to see it, but that's page 30. And it was 5 years ago. So like I have to
It wasn't the time.
I think that's like the complete opposite of what this book is supposed to do for you.
But I think you do that when you're ready. But honestly, like if anybody listening, like you have to get The Artist's Way. It is like this book, and it's almost like therapy without being therapy, like in a book. Like you just read like a chapter. It's not very long. And then it's basically doing like inner work about you. And it's just like, what did you want to do when you were little? And like, what did you like to do? And it's like getting in touch with like the child that like you lost like back then, because a lot of us were like, as children, we were just like shut down, right? Like just our hopes and dreams or whatever. Not like by well-meaning people. And you didn't even realize that happened to yourself until you get to be like a grown-up, and you're like, why am I so unhappy?
Right.
Like, oh, it's because I don't wear pink, or I don't draw, or I don't like, I just stopped doing all this fun stuff.
Because we're not labeling it as like productive or like economically producing something for us, so we can't spend our time on it. Right.
That
like you're
100%
incredible. I actually have a theory that I haven't dug deeper into this book yet, because I do think it might like change my life a little bit, as cliche as that might sound. Like I think it's going to explode, like open up all those things. And I feel like I know that subconsciously. So I'm like, I'm not ready yet. Like it's
you have to be,
I'll get there.
You have to be ready. But that's the thing, like it just opens you up to so many different things. And I found that my life started to change, as hokey as that sounded. But like I was just mentioning, like with the blog, and it's like, oh yeah, I did used to like to write when I was little. Maybe I will write. And you kind of get these nudges, right? Like from like the universe or God or whatever you believe in. But like it's just like, you should write. And I'm like, what?
Glennon Doyle calls that your knowing. Like
that's
your inner knowing, you know?
And then you're just like, and then finally, like I got to the point, like doing The Artist's Way, that I'm like, I have to listen to these things. So, okay, fine. And then like, it's almost like someone annoying in your ear. And you're like, fine, shut up. Okay, fine. I'll just write. And then like you do it, you feel good. You get a response, and then it's just like, see, see? Listen to me more often. So
not that hard. Like you did it.
Exactly. So that's what I've been trying to do lately, is just to follow those like little tiny whispers. The little
That's
knowings.
Amazing. And don't minimize that, because that is so hard. Yeah, exactly.
Because like you're like, because so many people just, I don't know, whatever your thing is, like, I don't know.
It's
adult coloring books or something. Yeah. Like people are like, that's so lame. Like,
it's conditioned
from that, or you can't. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I don't have to just zone out and watch TV. Like I can do a puzzle or something. I don't know.
Right. I read something the other day, and it really stuck with me. I've been sharing it with my students too. Is like, we spend so much time consuming other people's creativity that we don't spend time being creative ourselves.
Totally.
And I was like, shit, that is me. Like, I love reading other people's things, but I actually like to write. I just don't spend time doing it. I'm just consuming other people's, you know?
Girl, you're about to start writing after that Artist's Way book.
It's amazing how you just like those little things can like those little nudges can just change your whole outlook, right? For the better, usually.
Yep. They're so important.
Amazing.
Looks like I'm going to have to get myself a copy of this book.
Yes, you do.
It's like a workbook. It's like, so it feels like light. It feels so stupid. Like some of the exercises that you do, you're just like, I don't like, what are your 5 dream jobs that if you could do anything? And you're like, I don't know, like work on a cattle ranch. What? Like, who is this person that just said that? Like hike? And I'm like, I don't like to hike. Do I like to hike? I guess I do.
Do you ever feel like, and Jess, we've talked about this a little bit with like journaling in general, but when you're doing it, do you ever feel sometimes like you're not totally being honest? It's like you're scared someone else is going to read your answers. So you're like, what is the right answer to write down?
My God.
Instead of just writing what comes out. Or what
I had that experience in therapy a couple weeks ago when I like said things I've never said out loud. And I literally looked at my therapist and I was like, I'm fucking nuts. I was like, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Like, what the hell? And she just looked at me and she was like, you're carrying a lot of weight, Jess. And I was like, yeah, you think?
No shit.
But it's so funny. Like when we say things out loud or when we write them down, it's like, wait, who are you? Is that even real? Did you you question it, but yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad that you were like that authentic with yourself. I had to go back. Like one of the exercises in that book was like, go back and read all your journal entries. And I was like, no. I was reading it and I was like, and it was so fake. It was just like, I didn't eat very well today. Oh, I drank too much wine. Oh, and I was like, can you be any more boring? Like, okay. It's like, I love my children, but and I'm like, oh my God. Get to the meat of it here.
That's like the people reading it. People will find it and read it.
Yeah, like who's reading my journal?
Yeah.
Besides my children. Because that's what I always think. I'm like, what if my children find this in 20 years and they see
exactly.
I'm like, I better make it sound like I'm happy.
I do think that's in the back of our minds. It's like after we're gone and people are cleaning out our houses, they're going to start reading these journal entries. That's right. We better keep up the facade that their mom was like perfect and happy in every way.
They're like, damn, mom was depressed.
Mom didn't love us every second of the day. I don't get it.
I don't understand.
We were so well behaved and so.
But you know what? They'll be parents at that point, maybe, and they'll read that and be like, "Thank God!" Like,
thank God it's just not me.
After all, yeah,
that's right. Oh my God.
So I often say to my husband, like, I always love you, but right now I don't like you.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a difference. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Erin, one of your other, speaking of husbands, the new vows I'd make to my husband post, one of my favorites, laughed out loud. I actually read it out loud to my husband because I was like, listen to this. But one of them is I vow to not watch our shows without you. And that was actually in my wedding vows to my husband a few years ago. Yep. That's what I said to him. I'm like, I promise never to watch one of our shows without you. Like,
oh my God.
That legit vow. Yeah.
That is amazing.
I was like, yes, that is a good one. Like, I feel that.
See, that's more like, I mean, everybody knows like you're getting married. Like, don't cheat on me. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I know. Like, that's basically what it is.
State the obvious.
Yeah. But also don't watch my shows.
Yeah.
Don't watch shows without me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. His was so like, funny. I'll overcook your chicken and not panic when you lose your phone 100 times a day. Like, very real. So good.
Very real. You're ahead of the game back then.
Yeah. That's right.
I wanted to also mention your, obviously I'm a frequent flyer on the blog since you've last got it, back up and running.
Yeah.
But the backdrop, like the cover photo of the blog, like if that's not the most accurate depiction of parenthood that we've ever seen, like Sarah and I were both like, okay, like the potty's out, the laundry's unfolded, the lovely decorated shelves have random ass toys on them, YouTube's on in the back. Like,
I'm so happy that you got that and wasn't like you understood like what I was trying to do.
Yes, the real life. Like
real
so
everyday life. The PJs are on, like
you're taking a selfie. It's the best.
Because it's just it's like, what's this blog about? I don't know. It's just, this is what I do every day. I'm on Instagram and my kids are going nuts in the background, but I'm ignoring them because I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So like, let's just talk about that. So we mentioned already, I mean, we've been talking for a while now, so we'd have to like loop back, but we were talking about how real and honest you are and how refreshing it is, because oftentimes we don't get that piece on Instagram. And oftentimes we do our scrolling and we leave thinking like, oh, like, did I do enough today? Or was I good enough, mom? You watch the mom building blocks with her child and you think like, wait, I deflected all day. And I said, just 1 minute, or I need to do that. You know, you have
like,
all
she
these
looks
things.
like she's enjoying that. Like, usually
now
looks that way when I'm doing that.
So to bring that back, how important is it for you to just be like vulnerable and real and raw on Instagram, on your blog?
It's like the number one thing for me, honestly, because I found like I just connect so much with other people. Like whenever I'm like real, raw, honest, like I get to know people like you who like are in my DMs and they're like, I relate to this. And then like we chat and we become just slid on the DMs and like then just become friends, and you can relate and be like, I went through this too. Oh my God, isn't it the worst? Like you just kind of bond over that. And like, I don't know. Half the time I think I'm like full nuts with like what I talk about on Instagram. But that, because I feel like I just go into like a haze, because I feel like I picture like you guys or something, and I'm just talking away to just like a couple of best friends. And then I'm like, I have no idea. Watching me talk about my vagina. Like, But I'm like, love it. Yes, I know. Right. Because it's, I mean, hey,
we all got one.
We all got one.
Yeah. That's so true.
I know. So that's just like, I just have to be real. And I feel like people know when you're not being real. I had like my nails done and I got my hair done, and like someone DM me and they're like, who are you right now? Like, you better not be getting too good for us.
Right.
I promise.
Do you ever get any, so I know you get a lot of like positive feedback, and 90% of people can relate. Do you ever get any negative messages?
No. And like, I am terrified for the day that that's going to happen, because honestly, I'm not strong enough for it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, please don't have a troll.
Yeah.
Because I think that's why a lot of people are afraid to share their real life.
Yes.
In fear that the response they get isn't going to be ideal.
No.
Right?
Oh, for
sure.
And
if you're going to be vulnerable enough to share that piece, that's a huge part of it, right?
Yeah, it takes some courage, I think. Do you feel that? Do you feel like this is like a brave thing you're doing? Is it getting easier as you continue to do it? Or every time you're like,
there's some,
should I post it?
The money blog, I had to consult Corey and was like, is this a good move? Like, I feel like I need to do it. Right. And that's what I always do. Like I do whenever I just feel moved to like do something, then I have to act on it. But I was like, I don't know, money's so weird. Like, are people going to be like, whoa, this girl's like way off base. Like, am I going to seem like out of touch? Am I like under touch? Like, I don't know.
Right.
And like just some other issues. Like, I don't know, if I start talking about like my body or something like that, like, like I said, my vagina, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. But usually the moments that I'm like, oh, should I? Okay, do it. As soon as I start talking about it, people are like, yes, okay, yeah, like I get it. It's me too. So
they're so glad you're opening that space up, like to talk about it.
So far there's no trolls, but I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Well,
but then you have to think, they're like, who says that stuff to people anyway?
I know, right? It's so
true. Little humans.
Well, it's like I said before, I think we need to check ourselves. Like if we have a mean thought or a negative thought to say, like, where is that coming from?
Yes.
Obviously it's somewhere in here. Like, is it jealousy? Is it
always usually
you feel threatened because you're not that vulnerable or whatever it is? I don't know. But I think it's definitely internal. I think we just need to be like,
The old saying is like whatever annoys you the most in someone else is what actually annoys you the most about yourself.
Right.
And I
Totally.
have found that to be true. Like
Oh
things that
my
bother me, I'm
God.
like, why does this bother me? It's because I do or don't do this thing. Like, you know.
Don't you hate when you have that? Like,
Yes.
And it's like a bad one, and you're like,
yes.
oh God.
Yeah.
Because then
the
you're like,
worst.
this person sucks. Bah, 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 bah. And then you're like, oh, actually, I suck. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's me. That's
Oh,
me.
I'm not perfect. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Let's talk about your Honey, I Shrunk Our Savings blog post. Sure. And in it, you talk a little bit about your relationship with money as a continued part from your previous post. And then you look at what's challenging about saving money and budgeting and why you're uncomfortable holding on to it, as you just touched on. So you talked a little bit about that. You can continue if there's something else you feel like you want to share. And if not, maybe you talk about the budgeting piece. Like, how is it going? Is budgeting natural to you? Is that hard? Like, how are you doing with it?
I find like, so for me, like I have anxiety, like I said, and I find that like I have a really hard time thinking about like the future. Like Corey's like, just think we can have all this money to retire. And then I'm like, but like, what does that even mean? Like, does it not sound fun? Like, what is that? Like, but like right now I could buy something from Sephora and that's really fun. But like, and he's like, oh, we could, live in Florida. And I'm like, but that's like so many years away. Like, it just doesn't seem like now. So I think like with like anxiety, like you're so used to living like, like way up, like now, like that planning for like the future is like,
what if I'm not even here?
Yeah, 100%. I am probably going to die. Like, what are you talking about here?
Yeah, I think about that things like a year. And when I was planning my wedding, I said this to my therapist like a couple weeks ago. I was like, when I was planning my wedding a year and a half out, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive then.
Okay.
Literally had that thought. So I think we're on the same level there.
Yes.
For sure.
I'm like,
that's when I said to her, I was like, I'm so fucked up. Like,
I know.
Who thinks that shit? Like,
I think
you do.
My husband's like, do you want something to be wrong with you? Like, are you?
Yes. Right.
Like, no. Like, especially like taking COVID tests. Like I take like a COVID test and I'm like, negative.
Yeah.
I thought, and he's like, would you want COVID? And I was like, no. He's like, you never believe the test. And I'm like, never. Because I always think I'm about to die.
Right.
Literally an experience that I had my last
Oh
COVID
my
test.
God.
He looked at me like, wait, you seem disappointed that it's negative? And I was like, well,
like, not per se.
I just thought I have a tickle in my throat. Like, if it's not COVID, what is it? Like, I just thought that was my answer.
You're like, am I regular sick? How embarrassing. So I have a really hard time thinking about the future. Like, I've always been bad with money. And like, I don't know, like growing up, like we lived in the United States and like, I didn't have like a green card or a visa or anything like that. So I never really got a chance to work.
Right.
Like I never had that like teenage experience of like working for something. Like I had like allowance and I didn't get handed everything like always.
No.
But it's just like, I never had that experience. So when I did work, I was like, stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like, I never had like, I don't know, maybe it's just the way my brain works, but I just never connected like how like money, I don't know. It was just like, I have a credit card. Yeah. I'll pay for that later because now is where I live.
Right.
I don't live later. I live now. And then, of course, then you just get a whole bunch of anxiety and shame because you build up debt and you can't pay it off. And you're just like, how did I get here? Oh, it's because I don't understand.
Like, right.
Or like, I don't know. So, that's fun. And then with like motherhood on top of it, like, I don't know. I find with motherhood, like we're like, I don't know, you're always searching for happiness, I guess, some sort of serotonin, like, especially like in the younger years, like your kids are young. And like when my kids were there, that at that age, you're just like, how am I getting through this day? Like,
right.
And
right.
like,
yes.
so you're like, I don't know, like how I got through it was wine all the time.
Yes.
And then, and then you were like, oh, online spending. And like, at first it was just like, I would buy things for them. And then you kind of just like, you just need something to pick you up. But also as soon as I buy it, I feel like so guilty about it. And like, oh God. And that's, you're buying it for the wrong reasons, obviously. Like,
and I think too, like when you think about those early days in parenting, like it's all the marketing, like get this, bassinet and it'll help your baby sleep better. Or like you need this swaddle and this whatever, or this hush thing. Like, and then we're buying it all because we're so desperate. It's like 3 a.m. We're just like, what can we do to make things better? So we're just buying, and nothing makes it better because that's not the root of the problem. That's not the problem.
No.
But it's that that piece, right? That impulse. And I know you've talked about that on your blog and I can relate to that as well. That like, if I get this item, this is going to make me feel this way. And this is going to fix this. And this is going to like change everything. But then it doesn't. You're left with just the bill.
Yeah. And then you feel
that over and over.
Yes. And you feel so shitty. Like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me?
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? And then it's like, it's not, there's nothing wrong with you. You just got to fix your relationship with money.
Right. But then also like, sometimes I just say to Daniel, I need to go to Shoppers and I just need the product aisle.
I know.
And I go and I like spend money in the product, like literally, like it makes me feel good. Like the product aisle at Shoppers. It's like, I go there and I just find so much peace.
Me too.
And I'm like, I need all these things. And will I even use them? Probably not.
No.
But I feel so damn good when I get them. I'm like, I just need them.
I know. That's like today, like I had to go, like we needed Tylenol for the kids. And then I was like, I'll go to Shoppers. And Corey's like, can you?
Right. Should you go?
Be trusted? And I said, no, I can't. I can't. And so I was like, you should probably go because I will always want to buy something.
Right.
That I shouldn't. And
I've never walked into Shoppers or Walmart for one thing and walked out under $100. Never.
Right.
Never. It's like $5. Like you go in for the Tylenol or the whatever. And
you're like, I should probably,
yeah.
And then when you buy something for the kids and you're like, you know what though, but I need lotion or something. Yes. Like, well, maybe some hair ties, maybe this. And then you're like, oh my God, what have I done?
I know. And it's like, I think it's too how it's all presented. Like the spray, what's it called? The Saint Tropez.
Oh my God.
Like body bronzer and whatever.
Need it. Want it.
Like, like that could change my life. Or like, then you go down the aisle and it's like the green cream for like covering up redness. And it's like, okay. Like I need you and I need you. And then it's like, like, it's all just, it's just silly, but we do. Then there's so much remorse and it's like, why do I need those things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I get buyer's remorse like over a pack of gum. Like I'm the worst shopper. Like, oh my God, the worst. But I loved what you said about like the generational piece of it, right? Like our generation has lived through a number of things. Like, can we just stop living through unprecedented times? Like it's been decades. Can we stop? I know. It's been enough. Like, but that impacts us on some level.
When I really thought about it, like I kept seeing those memes and I'm like, oh, damn right. Like, geez. But then when I actually thought about it and then I thought about it in relation to spending and I'm like, oh my God, like we're fully traumatized. Yeah. And like, we're traumatized now. And like, no wonder, like, I don't know, we all just cling to the things that make us feel good.
The instant gratification. Yeah.
And we've been doing that since, I don't know, since we were like 9 or like whenever all this stuff started. And it's like, I don't know, food, wine, like buying stuff, like just anything to make us like happy. And then also like live in the now because we've seen so many times that life has been taken away from so many people.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and like we were just joking, but it's just like, retirement. Like there's kind of like World War III almost happening. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Saint Famille has been crafting award-winning wines from the warmth and beauty of the estate vineyard for almost 30 years. Overlooking the beautiful Avon River Valley, Saint Famille's winery celebrates the coastal terroir that has been coaxed from the earth, the sun, and the vine that root the winery in stunning Falmouth, Nova Scotia. Inspired by the impressive history and winemaking tradition at Saint Famille, comes the newest addition to the lineup, Lost Belle by Saint Famille Wines. The trio of Lost Belle wines includes Rosé, Saval, and Baco Noir. The fresh look and flavors of Lost Belle set them apart from the competition. Shop on site or online for the complete wine profile, as well as unique, locally sourced items. Saint Famille ships Canada-wide. saintfamille.com. www.st-famille.com.
That is why it's hard. Yeah. For you to think of retirement. You're like, that seems like a long way away right now.
I know.
And it seems like we could enjoy that money in a different way now. Like, does it make sense? Right. I just had this conversation with my mom, which, like, going back to the generational piece and like what you were saying about not really having a job growing up, like you had an allowance, et cetera. Like, we didn't have an allowance really. I think we did for like a hot minute, but I think there was 4 of us and we were just like, going out every other way. And like, I don't know, but I don't remember like having a set amount of chores every week and getting an allowance for it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I thought my parents were like ATM machines. Like I just was like, I had no concept of like working for it. And this is what the value of this is. And then that's now you have to decide whether or not that product or event or experience is worth the value. Like so I'm the same as you. Like I can't connect that all that well. No. So I now as an adult, which it's ironic because my mother's an accountant. Like you think maybe that would have like trickled down, but it didn't.
She's like, you're fine. You have my genes.
Yeah. No, I still am like, hi, here are my taxes. I don't know what any of the things mean. Like I don't know what any of those squares mean.
Also, can I have money?
But I literally just had the conversation with her about like, okay, so you're telling me I could put this money in my RRSP by the end of today, or I don't, and they just charge me like a lower amount of money on my taxes. So I either pay like $1,200 now or I pay $200 in a few months. Like I'll pay the $200. Right. But she's like, but you're paying yourself the $1,200 and you're paying like, the government $200. Yeah, exactly. And like, you're paying the government $200. I'm like, yes, but like, that seems less out of my bank account right now. And I don't see the other one until like years from now. So I'm just going to go with that for right now. Like, and then a part of me is like, this is irresponsible and it's the wrong financial decision. And this is a bad decision. So then I feel guilty about it.
I know.
So I'm like, well, why don't I just do the right thing? But it didn't feel right in the moment for me this year. Like last year I did it. And this year I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. So like, I don't know enough.
I know, but I'm with you too. Cause I mean, maybe too, like God love our parents, but like, I feel like our parents grew up when like money wasn't a lot. And so when they were parents, they wanted to give us more, right? Like as you always do, you want to give your children what you didn't have. Yes. So then they gave us lots and then we're like, hi.
Yes.
Who's giving me money now? Like,
yes.
How do I make the money?
Yes.
I have to wonder too, like I always blame, so I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I like am 99%, like literally
diagnosed.
Me too.
And I'm exploring right now.
Not to make light of it.
Right. No. I'm actually exploring right now getting diagnosed.
Me too.
Because I think I just need that piece to like either make peace with it or get better strategies or whatever. But oftentimes I blame my impulse on that because I'm like, is it just who I am as a human? Like, as I am very impulsive with like everything. Yeah. Like everything. It's not just shopping. It's with everything. So like, I don't think about purchase. I just do it. I'm just so impulsive with everything. Yes. And then afterward, I'm like, oh, you didn't need that. Or why did you do that? You know what I mean? So I've been trying to work really hard at like thinking, like I'll have a thought and then I'm like, I need to go get that right now. Like it's so impulsive. Like I'm just sitting in the living room and I'm like, I need this.
Me too.
And then I want to go buy it. But now I'm trying to
like your heart speeds up and you're like,
I was like, what is that? And so I'm trying to really think about now, like, okay, going through my mind to say, okay, when you have that thought, like 1, where's it coming from? 2, do you really need it? And then I can kind of like get myself back now. But it's like, I could just be at work, like doing work. And all of a sudden I'm like, and what time? I need to go on my lunch break. I need to get these things and I need to do these things. And then I just panic about them, whether it's like groceries or like product or like something for Logan. Cause I'm like,
oh my God, like a lunch box or something.
And you're like, yes, it's so messed up. Oh
my God.
It's so like how the way
and
I
it
think.
feels, and don't even get me started about me in a sale.
Right.
Like, with the same like type of anxiety and like the impulse. And you're just like, I honestly have to be like, you do know sales happen a lot,
all the
right?
time.
And I'm like,
That's
you do
right.
know if this product is gone, you are fine. Like you don't need those
Right.
pajamas. Like you're all right.
Right.
You are
Is
great.
it though that like
And
everyone
even
else is getting them? So then it's
Right.
like you want them too, like the Jillian Harris, Joe Fresh stuff.
Oh,
I don't need any of that.
No.
But because everyone else is, and because
I
it's
know.
Jillian Harris, I'm like, I need these things, but that doesn't make financial sense for me.
No.
Right.
But you do it.
also, like,
and it's so stupid.
Is that to be like included, or is that to be like,
yeah, right.
So it's like, are you part of the club? Like, I feel like that way with like when people are talking about a show and I'm like, what show? What's this? I need to know. I need to also watch the show.
Yeah.
Even if I don't really even want to, I'm like, what?
I'm on the end.
Be included.
Yes, that's so true. I think that speaks to a little bit about what you were saying in your trauma trinkets, which I just love that saying so much. And now every time I look around my house, I'm like, trauma trinket. I'm just like drowning in trauma trinkets.
Me too.
And you talk about like scarcity and anxiety and like our generation growing up. I think we've experienced a lot of that, like just in the world we've been living in.
Yes.
And it's connected to what we're saying right now too, right?
Oh my
like
God.
If it's on sale, you're like, well, it's going quick and it makes you feel like you need it, even though maybe you didn't need it when it was full price. Why do you need it if it's on sale? Like what's it clicking there for us?
I know. It's just like, I don't know. It just feels like you need to get it. Like, I don't know. I think like a lot has to do with like the last 2 years of the pandemic, which is like, you need to like toilet paper, all that stuff. And like you hear like, I don't know, on TikTok, they're just like, there's got to be a food shortage. You got to start making your own food. And you're like, what? Oh my gosh. Like I need to go to Costco and buy like 700 cans of beans. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it feels like we've been there before. Like we just don't want to be left in the lurch. You know?
The fear mongering. Because then it's like, oh my God, I should have listened. And now I didn't do it. And now we don't have any food. Like it's my fault. Like we're just like trying to control those outcomes. I laughed at your Costco visit the other day. Like you went in to spend, I think you said 200, you spent 300 or something.
Yes.
But can we just account for inflation maybe? Like did inflation go up like 4.1%? Like everything you're buying is so much more money. So like
we're enabling.
That bill 3 weeks ago may have been $200. Like, you know?
But now I know I also had a child with me. So there was a lot more cookies and stuff in the Costco. And I was like, dang, I'm so bad with saying no. I have no boundaries. Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's why I talk all this stuff on Instagram. Yeah. I'm like, nothing's off limits. I will do everything always. Yes is the answer. So yeah, I'm like, oh, whoops. Shouldn't have took a child to Costco.
Yeah. Or like now you have delicious cookies to eat. So thank you,
do.
child. Yes.
Now I'm like,
good decision. Let's tell the listeners what trauma trinkets are. Like what you came to in terms of how budgeting led you to trauma trinkets.
Okay. So I don't know. It kind of like just looking at money. And I just like looked around my house because it's like, okay, like we really got to take a hard look at our spending. And we like looked at the credit card bill and like, you're just like, oh my God, like so embarrassed at like, do we really spend this much money on alcohol? And do we really just like, why did I spend like $200 on Old Navy? Like, who am I? And then, so I looked around my house and like the thing that really brought it to me was like, my kids had a pile of opened toys just from Christmas. And this was February. And like just sitting in the corner that they never played with. They really wanted it, really wanted it. I like bought them all these toys and then they couldn't care less. They couldn't see it. They didn't know it was there. It was just a hunk of junk. And then they never played with it. And I was like, that is like, I don't know, $200 worth of toys, like sitting there in the corner, like a waste of money. And then I just like looked around the house and then I started just thinking about like all like the things that we went through, like all the world events, like the millennials and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, we've obviously been through trauma. And how I deal with that is I just go buy things, like, right? Like we were just talking about. So like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to go to HomeSense and buy a vase or whatever strikes my fancy. But it's actually like the trauma that we've been through that we're not dealing with, that's making us buy these little trinkets. So it's like our trauma trinkets. So anytime you buy something on a whim or just like impulsively, is like your little trauma trinket because it's not, you don't need it. You don't want it. I mean, you don't need it, but you want it.
Right.
Right.
Why do you want it? And you want it because something doesn't feel good inside of you.
Right.
And
it's so true.
You don't want to deal with it and you don't know how to deal with it because we really don't. But I think a lot of us are taking steps like going to therapy and all that stuff. Right. But it's just like the quickest thing we know how to deal with is buying it and just being like, And then like crazy. You said, like you buy it and then you're like, this is junk. And like,
it didn't fix the problem.
Didn't fix the problem. And you don't like cherish it. Like you're just like, it's almost like you don't even like it because it's almost like subconsciously, you know why you bought it.
Right.
You know like, you're like, I bought this because I was sad. And like, you're like, I don't want to wear this. That's a sad shirt. Blah. Like,
right.
And also like, do we not appreciate it or whatever because we're just so used to doing it? Like my mom will often say like, you don't even know we own. And a lot of times I blame it because I'm just so like, what's the word? I can't even think of it, obviously, because like this is my brain. When you're just like aloof and just like, like I don't even remember I buy things.
Oh yeah.
I literally don't remember.
Yeah.
So like she always says, like, you don't even know what you have because you buy some other stuff. So like half of it is like, because I don't even remember what I have. But then two, like, is it just because like we just buy things all the time that it's not like a special thing or it's not like, you know, that like.
Here's something else that I was wondering too. I'm like, is it
absent-minded? There. Welcome to my brain, everybody.
Hello. Is it a price point that decides like whether or not you cherish something, or is it like the feeling,
like value in it? Yeah.
Because I feel like if I go to Old Navy and see like $5 t-shirts and buy like 5 of them, I will take them home and I'll be like, meh. And if I don't like it, like because they don't usually fit me very well,
right?
And then I'll be like, no, it's $5. And then if I don't like it, I'll be like, I'll just donate it because it was only $5. But I feel like if I bought like a $40 shirt, like think of when you go like into Sephora or something like that, and you're like, am I about to spend $40 on a mascara? And you really think about it, and you're like, yep. Yep, I am.
Thought about it, definitely.
But you think about it, and then like you're really conscious of your money. And I feel like, I wonder if like, I don't know, if I bought an expensive t-shirt, would I cherish it more? Would I think about it more?
Right.
Would the process be different than if it's just like, you just buy all this fast junk, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
A couple little knickknacks here, instead of something that you really want.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
I think so, Erin, because I think it's like, for me anyway, it's spending a large amount of money at one time seems scarier than like little amounts of money all through the day that equal the same amount.
Oh my God.
So if I like add up what I spend on tea and food in a week, I would probably
talk about it.
I'd probably vomit because I spend it I'm like, oh, I'm going into tea. Like, no big deal. I do it all the time without thinking.
Yes.
But if I was like going to spend the equivalent of like $40 on something else or more, I'm like, do I need it? And then I have to put it in perspective. Like, we're going to have this thing for like the rest of our lives, whatever it is. So of course it costs $100 or $200. I literally spent $200 in food last week, like unnecessarily, like because I didn't pack a lunch, or you know what I mean?
I know.
But because it was like $20 at a time or $10 at a time, I don't think of it in the same
That's
way.
right. And like I remember, like, this was in one of my blog posts, and this is when I was like, am I like so out of touch? Like I was like, I think I did really good this week spending. And I totaled up everything that I bought, and it was $800.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I read that, Erin, and it resonated with me because I was like, this is how I feel. Because I always say I don't shop. I'm not a big spender.
Yeah.
But if I look at how much I spend in a week, it's a lot.
The teeny tiny things.
Yes. Because I mean, I had like two $200 big things that like came up.
Right.
And then the rest was like a bunch of little things that I just, once you buy them, like you said, it's like a couple of pieces, like a couple gum, a couple of scrunchies, like here and there. I think I did good. And then you look at it and you're like, oh my God. Like you forget addition exists. Like,
yes. So I literally bought something yesterday. I'm not a big shopper. I don't often do it because I feel like I'm not good at it. And I always feel like shame and guilt every time I do it.
Oh yeah.
And I went with my girlfriend yesterday really quickly, like store was closing. I needed new dress pants for work. Like grabbed 2. They were on sale, and a sweater. And I was like, this sweater's on sale. This is going to be great. But I forgot to like add up the total, the sum of. So when they said the total, I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, the amount. I was like, it's like $170. It was 2 shirts and 2 pairs of pants. And I was like, okay. And then I'm like looking at my receipt when I get in the car. I'm like, did they not take the discount off? And I was like, no, I'm just bad at math. Like I just don't add. And my friend next to me was like, well, you got 2 sweaters, like 2 really nice sweaters and 2 pairs of dress pants. Like that's pretty good. And I was like, is it? Because I don't equate like the value with the number. Just that number seems big for me. So now I'm like, I'll wear these pants and sweaters every single day for every day,
right? Because you're like,
because I just have to. Yeah,
you're not going to just donate them because you're like, I don't like them. Right. I also love that you didn't just say like, oh, never mind, I changed my mind. You're like, just swipe the card, because that's what I would do too. I was like, just swipe it, I'll deal with it later. Just swipe it. I'm so embarrassed.
I was like, oh, and I even thought the sweater I was buying had a navy stripe in it because I was like, oh, I can transition this into the summer. Makes sense. Then I got up to the cash. I'm like, wait, this stripe is black. She was like, yeah. Okay. And I was like, okay, I'll still get it. Like,
oh no,
I just say no thanks, you know?
I could never deal with like, even if they said it was $400, I would be so embarrassed to say, I'm just going to think about that. Or, just 1 minute. Like I could never do that. I would just have to be like,
so funny,
cry in the car afterward. And then go back the next day when someone else is working and return it. Like,
right.
I still am like, I'm so bad at returning things. I'm like, I guess this is
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Really bad.
That's
for
why
that.
I don't shop online, because I know I don't return it. Like I will not go to the post office and send it back. So I just be stuck.
That
with
is
it.
way too many
Sarah.
steps.
Yeah.
No.
My time is worth more. That's what I always tell myself. I'm like, my time and energy is worth this.
But it's also the price of the item,
right?
I find, because I'm like, it's $20. What are you gonna do?
Another piece of what we're talking about, I don't know if you two relate with it or not, because you'll say like you do like to shop. I'm the opposite kind of, right? Like I don't shop a lot because I do have immense buyer's remorse. Like I just, I overthink it. So like, Jessica, where you say like the impulse, got to get it now, I will sit on that and be like, think. So that's why like if Jess and I are buying tickets for an event, she's like, got my ticket. Like the moment we decided to go, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to think about it for 5 more days before I purchase my ticket.
Yes.
So,
I'm like you. Yes.
So I sit on it a while, but I still have like my trauma trinkets. It's my husband's biggest pet peeve, I think, of me, because he'll just go around my house sometimes now and he just hides things. And I'm like, did you clean out this closet? He's like, yeah, 3 weeks ago. And you didn't notice any of the things. So you don't need them. Like, where are they?
True,
I need them now. I know they're there. And it's like, it's like vases. Like I have like 15 vases. Like, why do I need that many vases? I don't have that many fresh flowers all the time. But it's the same for my clothes. So I don't buy them often, but I don't get rid of them often either. So like my closet is busting.
Right.
But I'm like, well, I might wear this again and I have it. So why would I get rid of it? Because if I get rid of it, I might have to go buy it again. Like I'm just saving.
Well, that's a fun
like I have things in my closet from like 10 years ago, you know, but it's not helpful because it's cluttering up my space.
Right.
Like I'm hoarding it. You know what I mean? Instead of just like, let it go. You haven't worn it.
My rule of thumb, Sarah, is if I haven't worn it for a season, I donate it.
Oh, I know. And I try to do that too. I do clean out my closet. I like donate clothes every year, but I'm always like,
hard to let go.
I didn't wear it last summer, but I could this summer.
And it's true that things do come back in style. And it's like, remember that shirt? And then it's gone.
Oh, I know. I wish that a lot, like especially stuff from high school too that's now coming back. And you're like, oh, where did you own go? Yeah. And they're like, oh, well.
My sister-in-law makes fun of me too, because I pride myself on like the cheap things, not cheap, but like the well-priced things now. Because I'm like, thanks, I found it at Walmart for like $4. But if you ask my 16-year-old self that, I would never tell you that that's what it was. You know?
But here's the thing, guys, and here's what I've noticed with like so many of the expensive items that I bought. I don't like, not anymore, but like before I had Logan and when money was just like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't have any responsibilities. I would buy like these Kate Spade shoes or like a Michael Kors sweater and like not get one comment. Not that I was fishing for comments, but I noticed it on the other end when I bought a pair of flip-flops at Walmart for $3. And like, you wouldn't believe the people that commented. I'm like, oh, where did you get your flops? Or like random stuff that I'm like, okay, I just wore like Kate Spade sandals the day before that were like $120 that no one commented on. And here people are commenting on the things that cost me nothing. Like it is that check to be like, it doesn't have to be $1 million to buy it.
Yeah.
Like you just have to
Why
like
are you
the
buying
item.
it?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
but you get caught in that.
Let's circle this back because is it because when you were in the cheaper things, you were more relatable? And if people saw you in like Kate Spade, they were like, this girl, like I can't afford that. Or so they're like, oh, where did you get that? Because
never thought of it that way.
Very good point, Erin.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe.
You talk about that, right? Like a piece of your experience with money has been rooted in that a little bit, right? Like you don't want to be an outsider for not having enough, but also you don't want to be looked at as being like wealthy and not approachable. Like that's a piece of it that
like because my dad played in the NHL like in the 80s and 90s, like we were just looked at like, right. You super rich. And it's like, no, like, first of all, this was like before the millions of dollars came in. Yes, it was a great job. And yes, my parents had money. Like we didn't want for anything, but they weren't rich. But according to everybody else, but it's like, no, it's like, yeah, my dad has a paycheck, but it's also like in America. And like, I don't know, there's just a whole lot of things. And it's like, we're actually not that different than you, but there's just this stigma of like money. So then people would like treat you differently. And I remember like, I'd be like, oh my God, like I wouldn't want to tell people right away, like what my dad did, because as soon as I found out, they would be like, oh, can I get tickets? Can I get tickets? Like, you're like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they would all of a sudden be your friend. And you're like, oh, that's a fake friend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you're like,
what's the motive?
That's right. Or then it's like, then like people would start to be like, hey, can I borrow some money? And you're like, oh my God. And then like, I don't know, just same things, like must be nice. Or people assumed like we didn't need help. Like we didn't need babysitters or we didn't need like my parents, oh, you must have it all. And it's like, actually, no, like we're just regular people. Like, I don't know. So it's just like such a stigma that money, and same thing with like not having money. Like, you have less than, people are like, think all these different things in you. Like,
money causes problems if you have it or if you don't.
100%.
Isn't it interesting though that stigma that other people were like projecting onto you?
Yes.
That must be so frustrating because you're in this cycle. And I know it happens with all kinds of like different areas, not just money, but like they're looking at you like, oh, look at her. She thinks she's too good for us, when really you don't, but they're projecting that outward to you. So then you have to be like, what? Like, how do I act through this?
I know, which I think might be why I can like be more vulnerable to like, I don't know, maybe get people to like me more. Like growing up, like, to be like, hey guys, like I'm actually like really like a normal person. Like, like I'm not like a rich,
like see me for me.
Like
yeah. Exactly.
So I don't know. That's
so interesting.
I know, but it's always other people's things, right? Like other people's issues regarding money.
Yeah, it's so true. Let's get back to your like, okay, so you're writing about money and you're taking us on this experience of budgeting and understanding your relationship with money, which I think is a really good encouragement for all of us to kind of like try to understand ours and what like, stresses us out or excites us about it. But talk a little bit about your writing piece. Like, were you always a writer? Did you always love writing?
I did.
I official training in that? Is it just something you enjoy doing and you're naturally good at it?
It is. Oh, thank you. It is something that I've always liked to do. Like when I was little, I always wrote stories, and like I loved buying like a notebook and like writing 3 pages of a story and then giving up. But I've always been, I don't know, good with words, I guess. But, like it's just always something that I really wanted. Like I've always wanted to like write a book or something, but just stuff that I've never really taken myself seriously for, because I'm like, that's insane. Like, no, I should definitely be like, I don't know, a business lady or something like that. It's like, who writes books? Who's going to listen to me? Like all that sort of dumb stuff that goes through your head.
Imposter syndrome, yes.
Oh my God, big time. But yeah, so I have always liked writing, but I've never taken any like courses for it. Like never. I mean, my writing style is like how I talk, so it's not like very profesh. But I don't know. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think you have a knack for it for sure. It's just a natural talent.
Ooh.
Jess and I were talking too about like your natural, well, maybe it's not natural, but your exploration, maybe that's a big word, of like your creativity. And like we love that look at that beautiful room you're in. Like you have your own art room. Like are you artistic? Are you creative? Have you always had that? Or is that just something you're trying to nurture now?
Yes, like I've always been like artistic. But for me, I was the only one in my family that was this way. Like I loved like art and drawing and storytelling and like lip syncing and like putting on plays and stuff. And like my family was definitely very encouraging for that. But it's like as I grew up, like it kind of was just like, oh, I am the weird one.
Right.
And then like, oh, and people would always be like, oh, you're the only one not in hockey, hey? And you're like, yeah, I'm not.
Right.
And like, what are you doing? Oh, I like to write stories.
Right.
And people would be like, that's weird. I think too, like my thing in life, like I do like to perform. I do like to like be artistic. I do like to I like to be in front of the camera. I like to just to entertain people, right?
Yeah.
And my dad is somewhat of an entertainer, but he was really successful. So for me, like I feel like so weird, like doing it in like a different venue. Do you know what I mean? Like
right. Yes. It's a different arena. No pun intended. I want to know, Erin, was your room, so you said you built your house a few years ago.
Yes.
Was your art room like an intentional piece of the house build, or did you end up being like, ooh, now that this room is here, I'm going to turn it into mine?
Yes. So yes and no. So we built this room. It's like our garage is below. So it's like a vaulted ceiling. And we originally had it as a playroom for the kids. So it's like quite a big room, but we're like, okay, you know, when they're teenagers, they can come in here with like a TV, or if it needs to move home, they can live in here, like whatever. So then the kids were too scared to play in the room by themselves. So I was like, oh my God, this is such a nice room. Like, and I always would be like, and it's also like, I mean, you know, as a mom, and you're like, I don't need much space. Like, don't worry about me. Let's just give the kids, I'll just need like a little desk to write my things on. It's fine. And then, so then we kind of just like tried a bunch of different things with this room. And then finally I was like, you know what? Like once the kids went to school, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finding myself. Like I need a desk. I want a computer. I want this. And then it was only in the last couple of months, and like I credit the Artist Way, that I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then so the kids, the kids love to do art too, and they kind of take over. But so it's kind of like our area to do art. I have to share with them, which I'm glad to do. But then
nice of you.
So nice.
Story of our lives. We have
right? I know. Corey's like, it's your room. And I'm like, I know, but like, who am I to like stifle their creativity? Like, I can't say these are Mummy's paints. No.
Yeah, right.
But I know, like, so you probably saw, like, we have like that wall. Like,
love it. The canvases that are on it.
So amazing.
Okay. Incredible.
But like, it didn't go as how I planned. I thought it was going to be like a cute little splatter. And then it started to be like, I'm like a really fun idea mom, but like when it executes, I'm like, wait. So we're just going to splatter the whole wall. And then it's just going to we're just going to embrace it. It's going to be super arty in here.
I love it.
But yeah, like it never started. Like I always wanted to get a space for myself in the house, but I never thought it was important. And then finally, when I was starting to like work on myself, because it was during the pandemic that I was like, okay. And it was weird. I was one of the weird people in the pandemic that I was like, oh, I'm going to stop drinking. Because I'm like, I drink a lot of wine every night. So then I started to like really I just started the journey working on myself. But it's only in the last couple of months that I'm just like, you know what? Like I am important too. Like,
yes.
Like it's so hard as a mom, because I don't know. It depends on what type of person you are, but I like totally lost myself as a mom. And like, I give everything to them. Like I said before, like I don't have any boundaries. And finally I was like, I need to be a role model for them because like if I don't show them boundaries, like they'll never have boundaries for themselves. And if I don't do things that I like I was to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to look nice because I don't want to hurt my kids' feelings. Like I don't want one of my girls who may not like dresses, like if I wear a dress, I don't want her to feel like this is the epitome of womanhood. Like my mom always has like, so I always try and just be like a blank canvas for them. But then I just found like I was so unhappy. Like, like, I mean, it's hard. Like, I mean, I don't.
And I think kids are intuitive. Like, I think they'll pick up on that. So I think it's so amazing that you recognized it and you're now flipping that script for them. Like,
and we all need an outlet. Like, we really do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whatever it is, like we need something that's ours. It feels ours that we take time to do.
I know. And to give ourselves permission to do it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's the piece though, right? You have to give yourself permission to do it. And it's like, I often say that, and I've spoken with this a little bit with other moms that I've worked with, that like you can feel so much guilt for filling your own cup.
Oh my God, all the time.
Unbelievable, but that's not realistic because we can't be good humans.
We're not
and good
robots.
Parents and good, it's just not a thing. But you do feel like, oh, I could have been spending that time with, like Sarah and I talked about this in a recent episode, you know, like you're pulled constantly, like we want to do this podcast.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like we do it obviously when our kids are sleeping, like it's because we feel too guilty to do it any other time, you know, like
and you wouldn't be able to.
Like it's just, like it's just
noise levels. Yeah.
But you're just constantly pulled. You're just constantly pulled.
Talk a little bit about motherhood. Jess and I were chatting about it and we talked a little bit previously, but in terms of being a stay-at-home mom and what the added pressures are with that for you. And like when you know, whether that is around budgeting and money and savings or just otherwise, like you said before about the cleaner, like I'm here. So should I do it? Like, what are the added pressures of being a stay-at-home mom? What does that mean to you?
Well, I don't know. It's just like you're constant, like being a stay-at-home mom, you're just constantly at home, which I love. I love being at home. I don't like leaving, which is why I'm a homebody hustler.
We love
but I'm like, but it's true. Like I don't have a job. So I struggle with that a lot, being like, I don't bring in any money. So I struggle with the spending of the money because I feel like I don't deserve it, even though my husband is just like, girl, you are so crazy. Like you totally deserve way more money than I make, like for this family.
That's society though, like, right? The undervalue of like the underpaid work, the unpaid work of like a woman's. Yeah.
And you don't realize that it's work because you're like, this is just what I do. Like I chose to have children and I love them, but I guess this is just what I do. So it's just like, I don't know, like I just struggle with that a lot. Like just, I feel like I just don't earn my keep. And I feel like in a society, like we were talking about, that just values money, that I'm just like, what do I even contribute to this society, you know?
Right.
Which is like dumb because we're obviously raising humans. Like, it just needs to be like a mindset shift.
Yes.
That we need to go through to be like, we're doing like the best job ever. But I feel like I don't convey that. Like, oh my God. I like last year, like 2 years ago, like maybe when the pandemic started, like my kids were just like, do you like being a mom? And I was like, of course I do, but it's a lot of work. And like, and I would say things like that, like, and they'd be like, can you play with me? And I'm like, no, I have to do a lot of work. Like, it's a lot of work being a mom. And then I found that they would, before that, they would always be like, I want to be a mom when I grow up. And then after I started saying that, they're like, no, I don't think I want to be a mom anymore. And I was like, oh, shoot. I think I was too.
But you're being honest. Yeah, like, you know?
I know. And I was like, so I need to dial it back and be like, actually, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's totally the best job ever. But
yeah,
it definitely comes with its challenges for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Like a million.
I hope that the word, and I think it is starting to change, but when I hear people, and I hear it in all kinds of roles and in different situations, but they'll say like, I'm just, or like,
oh my
I'm
God,
like,
yeah.
no, you're not just. Like, take the just out. Like, you have to say it with confidence, you know? Like, people will do that all the time, depending on the room they're in and the company they keep. Like, they'll undermine what it is they contribute to the table or like to the conversation or whatever. Oh, yeah. I'm just da 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 da. And it's like, no, say that again, but drop the just, because it's like, it's so important and it's so
But you know what's funny? Like, the part of motherhood that I don't love, it is the house cleaning and the making the food. And it's the daily chores that I don't like. It's not like raising the kids and kids and spending time with the kids. It's just like the day. So then
the mundane stuff.
Yes. And circling back to like well, why don't you just get a house cleaner? Or like, you know, if it's something that's really bringing you down, like just outsource that shit, you know?
Yeah. That's right. Like, find a way to make that work for you if you can, to bring joy. Because I do think it's not like, are we resentful maybe a little bit? I don't know if that's the right word, but like when we don't enjoy those pieces of it and we spend so much time doing it, then we like feel tired or less energy when it comes to like the playing with the kids or the like, kid focused activities. Cause you're like, I just washed your bedclothes and all your clothes and laid it out for tomorrow, made your lunches, and they're thinking about breakfast and tomorrow's supper and the grocery list. Like all those mundane things that you're like, I can't, it kind of robs you of the
and they're
joy
like,
of that
mommy, and you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
I am so deep in my thoughts right now.
But mom.
No.
Yeah. It's so true. And sometimes they'll say it and you're like, your dad's right there.
Oh
like,
my God.
But mom, can you get me the drink? Can you get me the bear? Yeah. It's so funny. But yeah, I think it is like it can be energy sucking, right? Like we're and especially I think sometimes it can be isolating. Like, I know I sometimes felt that way on maternity leave. Like it can be, there's so much that you feel like you need to do in the house. And if you're like an introverted extrovert, like you like to talk to people from the comfort of your own home, like, you know, it's like, hi, I would love to connect with you, but I also don't want to pack me and this baby up and go somewhere because it's a lot of work.
That's right.
Like, SOS, like, you know, it can be so hard.
Oh, totally. I think that's why too, like why I really love like Instagram so much and like Instagram stories, because it is like real life. Like if there's other stay-at-home moms at home, like you kind of connect in like real time.
Yes.
And then like they're kind of like, oh, hey, oh, tell me about that. And like you kind of just like have a friend. Like
it's like a colleague.
A colleague. That's a really great way of putting it. Yes. Because you're just like, oh, and it just feels nice, like to have those people.
Yes. Erin, why don't you tell everyone what the first of all, Homebody Hustler is like the best name ever. So kudos to you. I love it. But the Homebody Hustler blog and your presence on social media, like who should follow it? Why? What will people be getting like when they visit your blog? Who is it for? You know, what should people know about it?
I think it's for all women. I mean, mothers, but you don't have to be a mother, or you could be a grandmother, but it's just, I don't know, anybody looking just for a glimpse into like daily life and to chit chat. Like I chit chat daily with you online about whatever's on my mind.
Yeah, I love it.
So, and on my blog, it's a little bit different because sometimes there'll be some like funny stories about my life, or there'll be maybe like more emotional essays or something, but it's just more entertainment, and I won't get you to buy things. Right. On my blog, at least.
Yeah, that's a good plug. Yeah. And I think it's like entertainment and connection and like rawness, you know, and just finding like the joy in the real life.
Yes. Like, honestly, I just want to be everybody's friend, but like, I don't want you to like come over to my house, but like, I just want
to meet you for
coffee, but we'll be friends, online friends.
I'll be so nervous to meet anybody in real life, but, but yeah, like just, I don't know, just stop over and have some fun.
Awesome. And where can people find you on social?
Homebody Hustler on Instagram, and homebodyhustler.com for my blog.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes. I think Jess has some of our morning meeting questions teed up for you. We ask every guest these questions. Don't try to overthink it. Just first thing that comes to your mind. And then we'll do our rapid fire. What would you rather question?
Okay. Love it.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay.
Sorry.
Red wine or white wine?
Both.
I
find like white is like to keep me like energetic, and like red is like to chill.
To relax.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
We have we always ask one random, what would you rather?
Okay.
So, would you rather hire a personal maid or a personal chef?
Ooh, maid.
Okay. Okay. I think we talked about this. I think we did this one before, Sarah, maybe in season 1.
I
think I said chef.
And I think I said maid, and I think that sticks still.
Yeah, I'll scrub the toilets. I mean, I do it currently. I don't like to cook, like at all. I don't like to cook, and then I don't like to clean up the dishes. It's
I
really
hate cleaning up the dishes.
Yeah.
But I'm clean.
I think I need the housekeeper because if I get in a groove, I like to clean, but that happens like once in a blue moon.
Same.
I don't mind cooking as long as like the ingredients are in front of me.
Right.
And I quite enjoy the process. But if I have to think about, oh my God, what are we going to make? And what do I
and
need?
As long
and
as
I'm
the
missing that one thing. I don't like it.
Yes.
Our dishwasher stopped working the other day, and I literally was like on the phone with Fast Furniture being like, what do you have in stock? Because I don't have time to wait for this to be like,
no,
I can't. Like, I just need whatever. And anyway, it turned out that like Daniel had the circuit turned off or something because he was working on the basement, and I was like, you had like 5 more hours.
Talk about the impulse, Jessica. Just straight to the phone to get a new one. Like,
I am not messing around with dishwasher. Like, absolutely not. Like, swipe my card.
That is hilarious.
Don't F with the dishwasher.
No.
That is
what a nice chat.
Yeah, Erin, this was lovely. You're just as lovely as you are.
Yes, I know. We gotta do it again, and maybe in person. Let's do like a retreat or something like that.
Oh, yes. Okay. Here's an idea.
That would be really
retreat.
Yes, I love it.
Oh my God.
Let's plan it.
Okay.
Oh God,
you heard it here first, people. We're having a mom's retreat.
Mom's retreat.
Small group. Just small one. We're not going to go crazy.
Yes.
We'll do some horseback riding.
Yes. Wine drinking.
Some wine tasting. Have some good food.
Yes.
And just like shoot the shit.
Yes.
Like, you know.
Like, it doesn't have to be crazy. Just a little mom's retreat.
Love it.
I love that. You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. You heard it here first.
Can't wait.
We're collaborating. Homebody Hustler morning meeting.
Oh my God.
Yes. What do we call it? Like hustling.
Yeah.
The morning hustle.
The morning hustle.
Homebody's morning
hustle.
Homebody's hustling in the morning.
Hustling while we're there. Just relaxing.
No.
Yeah. Like maybe the afternoon because let's sleep in.
Yeah, let's sleep in. We never get to do that.
No, that's right. That's perfect. This was so lovely, Erin. It was a pleasure to have you around our table on this episode of the morning meeting. We look forward to chatting with you again.
Oh my God.
Maybe you can come back and give us an update on your budget and how it's going.
Oh my gosh.
Teach us a thing or two.
Absolutely. Anytime. This was a blast. I know
you definitely inspired people to like check their relationship with money and their budgets and their savings. I have. You've been in the back of my mind the last week or so, like, okay, I'm going to learn how to budget. I'm really going to learn, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
We can all do it together.
For that. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah. We need support. This is good. This was so great. Thank you so much. We'll chat with you again soon.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast and give us a review. You can find us on social media at The Morning Meeting Podcast and connect with us through email at themorningmeetingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for sitting around our table. Sarah and Jess.